our press conference today. It gives me great privilege to be here today to announce our special guest. Menlo College has gone through a transformation in the past 5 years and really gotten back to our roots as it relates to being a business college. In fact, the Silicon Valley College. And bringing home Mark Speckman is another tribute to getting back to our roots and being what we're really about. And that's servicing our students at the highest possible level. And the fact that we're able to bring Mark back today into the fold shows a commitment on the athletic department's, from the athletic department's perspective and also the college's perspective to make sure that our student athletes are serviced at the highest possible level. And really that athletics is an extension of the mission of the college. So it's with great pleasure today that I introduce a highly intelligent, hardworking alum, Mark Speckman, as our new head football coach.
Well, I want to thank you for all being here. It's kind of surreal to be back. It's kind of like my life in reverse. As I flew out of Portland, the last thing I saw when I got there was Mount Hood, and that was the first thing I saw. And I'm coming out over the Golden Gate Bridge, and I was going, "Wow, what's actually happening?" I never thought I'd be back, and but I'm really pleased to be back and be the head football coach at Menlo College. It's really a great honor, and be able to go full circle in life. It's rare, and just a great opportunity. A lot of people, wonder how did I get back here, and I'm leaving Willamette University, where I have a team of guys that I just loved, and a coaching staff that I loved, and I certainly think I can help get the football team there. I grew up in Belmont. I went to Carlmont High School, and after my last football game in high school, I was sitting in the locker room kind of bummed out because I, amazingly enough, didn't get a scholarship. And, my high school coach went to Menlo, and he said, "Coach, why don't you, he didn't call me coach, he called me Mark." He said, "Why don't you go to, Menlo College?" And I didn't even know it was private. I just thought it was a junior college, and kind of wandered down here. And Coach Solari, who's sitting over here, was gracious enough and courageous enough to give me a chance. I thought it was perfectly normal to go play college football, and I came down here, and then I found out it was a private school about 2 weeks in, and somehow the financial aid all worked out, and I'm really thankful. I had a named scholarship. Somebody helped me, somebody put the money up for me to go to school here, like so many students today are getting, and really launched my career, launched me as a person. And Don Bakey was another guy that was a huge influence in my life, who was the athletic director at the time, assistant football coach, and I used to be a lifeguard here. I taught summer school here. Coach Solari had a football clinic, and I spoke at it in this room, my first clinic I ever spoke at, and so, my roots are really here. I learned a lot of football from Coach Solari, and Tony Borba, who's another Hall of Fame football player. I'm really glad to see Tony, but he played for me at Livingston High School, and he went to the Air Force Academy, and he didn't, he wanted to transfer, and so I was the next generation of coaches, and I said, "Hey Tony, why don't you go? I know a place. Why don't you go to Menlo, and go play for Coach Solari?" And then Tony came here, and I hope there's more generations of people passing the torch. I think that's important. And one of the things I've learned at Willamette is the importance of alumni. And I'm never going to be able to build a building here or give a significant sum of money. That hasn't been my my role in life. But I've got a skill that I can give back to this university. And I think they're paying me, but I'm going to be giving back something that I think the skill set that I have as a football coach is exactly what the Oaks need. I think what I can bring to this organization is exactly what they need right now, and so it's exciting. And despite all the whirlwind and moving and all the heartache of leaving friends and loved ones behind, there's a lot of friends and loved ones here that I get to reconnect with, and my family's down here still. My brothers are here. And so it's exciting for me, and I think that I just think we need to understand. And I've learned that Menlo is extremely important in my development, and I didn't really know it when I was 20. I didn't know it when I was 30. I didn't know it when I was 40. But now that I'm 41. I think you can. You guys can go with me on that one. But you know, now that I'm older, I really kind of get it. You know, that somebody I appreciate that, and I think, you know, I think the alumni of Menlo, I hope that they get excited about the vision and take a look at what's going on here now, because I think it's way different than what even I thought it was. And so I think, you know, I want to publicly thank Coach Solari, who was a guy that mentored me, and you know, I was born without hands, and you know, when I played here, I was adamant that we never talked about it. It was something it was just a non-issue, and Coach was always great about not making a big deal about it, and now that I know what I know about recruiting, I always wondered, that he probably had to walk away from that meeting going, that ain't gonna work. And you know, that's you know, that's probably not gonna get us to the championship right there. But you know, that was a great thing about Menlo is that I got this opportunity, and when I came down here, and you know, stayed in Pratt Hall, and I was so nervous before the first practice, not because I was worried about, you know, getting hit or meeting girls or, you know, academics. I was just afraid who was going to tie my shoes, because I can't tie my shoes, and who's going to tie my stuff in the locker room, and I didn't know anybody. And I remember all, you know, the teammates, you know, rallying around, and you know, it's a great family, and it can be a great family. It can be a great opportunity for young men to learn and to grow, and I just think that the size of the school is such an advantage, and the focus is such an advantage that you know, I'm really excited about getting out and recruiting and bringing some guys in here, and then meeting the current players and seeing what kind of team, you know, we're going to be able to come up with. And so I do, you know, I am thankful for my experience here, and I think, you know, the young people here are going to get a great experience and be able to reflect back in years ahead as they become successful in whatever passionate line of work they go into. And as far as the football part of it, you know, I'm excited about getting to know the staff, getting to know the players. You know, I've got a base philosophy of team building, and a base philosophy of the culture that I want to create here at Menlo. I've got a base offensive philosophy that's served me well, and we're going to, you know, Tony, you'll be real familiar with it, and hasn't changed much since that a long time ago when we coached together. But you know, I'm also excited about the changes that are going to happen, things I'm going to learn, things I have to do to put this puzzle together. And so it's, you know, it's an exciting challenge, and you know, very few people in their life get to come home and do something as exciting as this, and be as passionate about it as I am. So, you know, that's really what I wanted to say, and just, you know, again, thank Coach Solari for bringing me here. And one other side note, you know, my first recruit at Willamette, I became head coach on a Sunday, and Monday the admissions department called me up, and they sent a guy in, and I hadn't had anything unpacked, and I was all fired up, my first recruit, and this kid walked in, and he had the 2 largest hearing aids I'd ever seen on a human being. And I was looking going, is this a joke, or is this like, am I on candid camera, or, and I really reflected on, well, I'll talk to the kid, who am I to say you can't play? And you know, so I kind of said, hey, you know, if the coach says anything, how do you hear it, see it? Or, I read lips, Coach. All right. Well, what if we're in a film session? It's dark, and I kept asking questions because I'm going, you know, hey, you know, I kind of like to know. Kid goes, I got it, and I don't, you know, and I just think God's got a funny sense of humor sometimes, and you know, he ended up coming to Willamette and playing and having a great career for us, and so I just think that this history of Willamette football is a rich one. It's something we should be proud of, and I think it's something that we can build on. And there's really absolutely no cap on this thing. So that's what I have to say. So.